A life of leisure is a life of pleasure. Needless to say, this is a fallacy but false, as it is fairly widely spread. Many foolish fellows bewail their lack of means to choose, either to loll or to labor, just as they like. They look jealously on those who appear to have nothing else to do but eat and drink and enjoy a merry life when the poor man toils ceaselessly for food and lodging for himself and family. But in simple truth, there is no more awful life than the lazy, useless life of the idle man, and it is also true to say there are exceedingly few rich men nowadays liable to the charge of laziness because they know the busy life is the happy one. Happiness is an elusive thing, and more rich men than poor fail to grasp it. Para. Dear sir, the volumes of the French Revolution for which you ask in your favor of the 1st July shall be delivered to you early tomorrow. We are just now out of stock of the life of Lord Lumley, last year's bestseller, and we are unable to say when we shall receive copies. We have a daily delivery from the wholesalers, however, and you may rely upon our mailing the volume to you as soon as it reaches us. We are taking the liberty of enclosing for your approval Naval Lessons of the War by Philip Bailey. Please return this with the next parcel if it makes no appeal to you. Yours truly, Para. We shall require consular invoices for the 4 cases of liquid glue and for the square bottles of hair restorer which we are to ship to Guatemala by the Wells Rose, selling next Friday. Please ask Mr. Wheeler or Mr. Weldon to see to this. Meanwhile, as we are the insurers, see to the policy as soon as possible. If the wharfinger calls, I wish to see him. As to the disposal of those bells from Bombay by the Emperor now lying in the Empress dock, it is important to know whether it is possible or impossible to make delivery of these bells to Messrs. Ambrose and Kimber this week. I am relying implicitly upon you to deal quickly with the mails for the Southampton boat tomorrow. Para. I have no wish to impose my views upon the ambassador or to embarrass him by asking for impossible improvements, but it is important I should impress upon him the Chancellor's opinion in the case of those lumber vessels. You will see how imperative it is I should see the ambassador if we are to have any improvement in our relations. Just now, I desire to discover whether the whaler's story is true or the idle tale of a willful impostor. I shall occupy only a quarter of an hour, and I am sure the ambassador will agree. The importance of the case is well worth the time, Para. If I can spare the necessary time, I shall go to the head office tomorrow. I shall do my best to induce the authorities to raise the rate at which we are to ensure Messrs. Morris and Moods 4 bills of rags. The rate should be higher because of the risk of fire and damage to the rest of the cargo. I shall be sorry to receive a refusal, as the business is scarcely worth the worry and risk unless we secure a fair rate. We have had numerous instances of loss on similar policies in the past. I think we should have a due sense of the grave loss and injury which may follow a refusal to raise the rates on these risky packages. Everyone knows how easily oily rags take fire. Para. The judge in his charge to the jury said, "This poor boy's injury is very severe, and if what he states is right, it was due to the absence of a hooter on the car which Robinson drove along the arcade at a very fast rate. His speed, if we can take the story of the police as correct, being at least 40 miles an hour, far too fast in so busy thoroughfare. The boy says the car came on with a rush. No alarm was given. He was struck and thrown with a force so terrific as to break his right leg. If you think his story is right, you will give him damages. If you assume his story is wrong, and if it appears to you the injury was caused by his own lack of vigilance, you will refuse him the damages for which he asks. You must carefully weigh both the boy's case and the case as set out by Robinson and decide on the facts as they appear to you. Para.